balance, out of
I'm
whack
so
from
sorry.
it. But yeah, I several days after I had taken care of things, I wasn't going to say anything to him about it, and it just kept on eating away at me, and I felt the only way I could kind of purge it. Oh, thank you. Purge it from my system would be to tell him. And I did. I just matter-of-factly said, look, I feel very conflicted about contacting you, but I need you to know.
Did you email him?
Email him.
Yeah, okay.
I said, I just need you to know that I had to terminate a pregnancy, and it was horrible, and I don't expect anything from you, but I felt that you needed to know that this is what I had to do, and I never got a response. That was the last
unbelievable
bit of communication. That was it. That was after that. I mean, when I wrote it,
he didn't respond.
Not at all. When I wrote it, I thought that I didn't expect him to. I really thought that my expectations were zero.
Right.
But then, after I sent it, as time progressed, I realized that I did think that he was, frankly, decent enough to at least acknowledge it, and he didn't.
He didn't say he was sorry or anything like that.
He's never apologized. I've never heard
for
him
anything.
Sorry for anything. He's never acknowledged any wrongdoing. The only email I got from him after it was the day that you guys called me on that Saturday, and he just said he told me the address to send his stuff to.
Right.
And he said this was a mistake, and then that was it.
And you told him you were pregnant, and you didn't hear anything from him.
No, that was early May. I still have the email. I can forward it to you.
I just want this on tape. He told me that he didn't have any kind of penetrative sex with you, that he only finger fucked you. So what did you guys do? I'm sorry, but
no, it's fine.
I'm a pervert, so it's really like, you know what I mean, as much or as little as you want to say, as long as we can establish that there was some untruth told here.
Oh, yeah.
You know. He told me, all he did was finger you, there was no oral sex, and that he didn't have penetrative sex with you.
That's not true at all. When I picked him up from the airport in early December, he had flew from Holland to Philadelphia.
Yes, I had been with him for 3 weeks before that. We'd been together in Amsterdam. You see the Crossing Border magazine? He was very angry that he hadn't been selected to be in the festival and that I was the face of it, and that's when he hooked up with you. So now, See, I was on plastic bags in Holland and he wasn't invited. So...
Delicate.
And I was there to, have like a summit talk with him after that, after his birthday. I made a birthday meal for him. Then I found your posting was on the same day. So that was really fucked up.
He'd emailed me that day.
I'd like to see what that said. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll send you everything.
Cool.
Chats, email.
Awesome.
I don't know technically how to send...
no, don't go drive yourself crazy.
Text messages.
Oh, don't drive yourself crazy, honey. You know what I mean?
But I picked him up from the airport, and as soon as we got in the door, we were in the bedroom.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Awesome.
And
he told me that you just took him to his show and then you spent the night there.
No,
and then one thing led to the other.
No, he stayed with me for 4 days before he went to the West Coast for the SMEGMA, the Portland, Seattle thing. No, I mean, as soon as he came in the door, I was going to show him around the apartment, and it was straight to the bedroom.
And did he manage to put a condom on, or did he?
He wasn't able to get hard, so it was oral, and
I see.
That was it.
Okay.
And, manual.
Right.
And that was pretty much, and it was frequent, like 3-4 times a day.
Well, 3 or 4 times a day you had sex with him. Really? Wow.
And that first those first few days, and then when he came back and stayed with me he was up here, as you know, a little bit.
With me.
Right, in late December.
With me.
Right. That was around
Yes, he
Christmas.
was with me.
And then
Yes,
he came back
was
down
with
for
me.
New Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he couldn't...
He was with me.
I don't think we actually had penetration until he came back in March. Because I remember telling my friends, oh, maybe I don't need that Cialis that you gave me after all. I still have them in my purse. I mean, like...
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I said, because it seems to, whatever the problem was, this seems to be okay now. And,
Okay.
So while he was with me for the majority of March, and then, first 2 days of April, it wasn't able to perform all the time, but I would say that there was penetrable sex at least, like I would say it was 4 or 5 times out of,
From March until
early April.
early
I think
April.
it was March 8th when he got to Philly, and then I don't think he really spent any time up in New York, up here. He was with me for almost all of March.
Yes, because he had come to after the thing in November when we were supposed to have the summit, and he didn't want to talk. He just wanted to watch TV.
And that's when
because
you flew
he
out
was
there
already.
specifically to-
Yes, I flew on the 14th of November, and I came back like the 1st of December. So he came right after. You understand the dates?
Yep.
Then I saw the dates on your postings, and I put it together.
Because he started communicating. I had found out the reason I ever got in touch with him.
Right.
I'm good friends with James Blackshaw.
Right.
And I knew that he and James had the Brotherhood of the Fruit Spirit thing. And I saw that he was coming to play in Philly. And I sent him an email, introducing myself. I'm a friend of James's. If you need anything in Philly, I do this for all of my musician friends because most of my friends are musicians who are on tour. I always open up my apartment. It's just one of the things I do. And James has stayed with me many times. So I said, if you need anything while you're in Philly, if you guys need a place to stay, any way I can help out, please let me know. And then I wasn't able to go to a show. Well, I didn't go to a show. I was able to. It was a few days.
You didn't go, yeah.
I had a solo show, and I was.
You were
frantic.
busy with your own work.
My own stuff.
Right,
Exactly.
I
So
hear
I
you.
didn't go, and his story for how we met was what he would tell people. Was that I didn't go to his show, and he was very intrigued. He became very intrigued by this chick who didn't go to his show.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how he framed the conversation when he started messaging me on Facebook in October.
Right.
And then on a daily, several messages a day usually. It was pretty constant, and it was very. I was a bit taken back by how the tone changed fairly quickly. But to be honest, I was flattered by it. I'd been 2 years out of a long-term dysfunctional relationship. I just hadn't pursued anybody. My mind hadn't gone there. I started focusing on my work and reprioritizing my life, and then this guy starts being very flirtatious and very attentive and very believable. And I got sucked in hard and fast, big time.
He wanted a place to stay because he hadn't paid rent here for a number of months. So
And he got very interested when I told him that I had a large apartment.
Oh, really?
It's like, yeah, I
Did he step it up after that, sort of?
It's been a while since I've not really been able to look back and reread stuff. I didn't feel it would be healthy.
Right.
But I'm sure if I reread everything, that would become even more obvious now. I mean, as I've looked back on things, they are certainly more obvious now. But it's all stuff that I wouldn't have had any clue of. I mean, the marriage that he bit a part of my labia off. One of the very first times we had sex, and he looked up and his forehead had blood smeared on it.
Oh, no wonder he went to the doctor to get tested. That's why he was so scared. That's why he was scared.
Yeah, and he looked up and he had blood on his mouth, and he had.
That's what he was scared of. That's what he was scared of.
Well, I'm clean. All. I guess the day of discovery.
Day of discovery.
The day of at least partial discovery, because of course it wasn't all true. That I was at work. It was a Friday, and in the morning I checked my MySpace, which I'm not on that often, and that's when I got your first message. You're like, tell him that, his wife, or tell him to call his wife who is ill.
Yeah.
So I saw that, sitting at my desk in my office. I started shaking. I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry again.
I got up and I was like, I wasn't even, Kathy, even that split second before I knew who you were, before I knew that it was true, I instantly got mad at him. I was not mad at you. I wasn't at any point like, who is this crazy bitch? I'm sure it indicated that on some level I knew something was profoundly wrong.
Right.
And this was the piece that was missing.
Right.
So I got up, I told my boss I was going to have to take a personal day, and I left, and I went home, and it was like 10 in the morning, and I walked in the apartment, I walked through the living room, I walked through the studio, I was like, hello, and he was in the bathroom on the toilet, and all I heard was, before he said hello, before he said, why are you home, he just said, I'm sorry. And I didn't know what he was talking about at first. I just thought he was saying, more referring to the fact that he was on the toilet when I was coming home.
Yeah, right.
And then he came out. I sat on the bed, he came out, and I said, I got it. He's like, why are you upset? Why are you crying? And I told him I got the message, and he's like, he just shrugged his shoulders, and he's like, well, yeah. And we went into the living room, and I said, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, well, everybody has a past, and you and I, we've just started, so, I just didn't feel like we needed to know this yet. And that's when he went into the spiel about it being a marriage of convenience.
Oh my God.
That you really wanted your Dutch citizenship.
Oh, that's such bullshit.
And that you were clinging to it because...
I have a passport. I have nationality.
Because you got money from the government?
Oh, bullshit. I get grants, and he's jealous of them.
Of course. He framed you as the user, whereas in fact...
I don't use... It has nothing to do with him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the user.
Yeah, no. Absolutely.
So, and that's when he told me about, he's like, this wasn't the first time. I did this before. And
did what before?
Married for paperwork.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Again, he framed himself as the benefactor of two separate women who, he helped them out.
I see. Wow, fascinating.
Crazy. And
I was crazy.
And that he was so upset spending time with you that he would have to stay in a Fleabag motel.
That's bullshit. That's because he didn't pay rent, and I put him out. Yeah.
Again, it was just like the whole martyrdom kind of, oh, woe is me, I'm the victim of this other person. And he's like, I'm going to take care of it, don't you worry, I'm so sorry. Actually, that's the only time he ever said he was sorry. But it was more that he was sorry that he was apologizing for the fact that you contacted me.
I
and
see.
apologizing for your behavior.
Oh, I
not
see.
anything else.
Not his own
Apologizing for you.
behavior. Oh.
And so
Sorry, my wife bothered you, kind of.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry she brought you into this
I
kind
see.
of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, good one. Good one.
So that day, it was a beautiful day out. We went for a walk along the river, and he was telling me all these really nice things, talking of the future, talking about trust, talking about betrayal, talking about...
You said he cried. He said he didn't.
He did.
He cried?
I mean, not sobbing, but it was, yeah.
Crocodile tears.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we spent the day together walking around, lying underneath trees that were flowering. I mean, it was...
Wow.
Looking back on it, I'm embarrassed, but it, to an extent, put my mind at ease, to an extent. And talked a lot about, on that same day, growing up in a household with divorce, and how it's, betrayal, and how I have zero tolerance for lying, and all of that stuff that he was doing. And he just sat there and nodded and held me, and like, oh, they're there kind of stuff. And I mean, even the next morning when he was coming up here, that morning he was talking about going over there with him in November, so I could meet his family. So,
You're kidding me.
No. It's like, we can do that in November. We can do that in November. And so when somebody tells me that, I believe them, and I believe that means that there's
And I
a future.
said, why didn't you tell me about her? And he's like, well, because I wanted things to work out with you. I said, how did you think that was going to be possible after doing
And
that?
honestly, had he not been caught, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I'm now so thankful that he was. I mean, for many reasons. For you, for me, for just...
For the next victim. Yeah.
And I'm glad that...
I think we got a full-on sociopath on our hands here, and yeah, it's
because
really...
talking to his friends, people like James, people like Wouter, who he's worked with and been friends with for years, they had no idea about any of this stuff either. They've been lied to, and they know that now. And they're not going to be fools twice.
No, me neither.
James will never work with him again.
Yeah, wow. He'll never step foot in here again.
Well, and because James, David Tibet will never work. All these people. In fact, the Saturday...
No, David Tibet.
Making me come twice, did 2 different takes.
Wow.
And because he said he was going to write a piece and use that in a piece. And when we came back in March, he brought a CD with the recordings on there, with him playing.
Are you kidding me?
No, and I have it. I can send it to you.
Fantastic. The lawyer would love that.
I mean, again, he could, as I'm sure he will deny it, that it was me.
But I have your testimony here right now.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
How you doing there?
I'm good, actually. Thank you.
Jesus.